During the planning, pre-production, production and post-production stages of making my short film, I used a variety of programs and websites to help me gain information and create a short film using industry-standard equipment to a high quality. One of the first programs that I used during my pre-production was SurveyMonkey. This website allows you to create questionnaires and distribute them to whoever you want to. As it is a very well-known website, people are more likely to answer my questionnaire as they trust that the site is safe to use. By creating an online survey as opposed to printing lots of paper surveys out, it was much easier to keep a record of all of my results. It also meant that I could print screen the results that I got, and it allowed me to analyse them during the post-production of my film to show why I chose to do certain things during my film. Using this website to make questionnaires helped me to find out what target audience to aim my film at and what my target audience would want from my film. This was very useful for the planning of my film, as it helped me to make decisions and also gave me new ideas to add to my film depending on what I found would be most appealing to my target audience. SurveyMonkey was also useful during the post-production stages of creating my film, as I used it to gain knowledge of the audience's opinions on my short film's poster and film review, which helped me to evaluate them. It was very helpful for me to gain this information, and SurveyMonkey helped by allowing me to add pictures as well as text so that people could see my poster and film review as they answered the questionnaire, meaning that it was quick and easy for people to answer the survey, which also meant that they were more likely to fill it in. I've used SurveyMonkey in the past, so I found this easy to use, as I think that it's a simple and professional website. WordPress is a well-known blogging site. This website was brand new to me, having only used Blogger previously, but I found WordPress very different, and in comparison I prefer it. I found that this website was easy to use, and I think it's a much more professional way to exhibit all of my work from the pre-production through to the post-production with everything in between. It's also a good way of advertising, as anyone can view your blog and they may choose to reblog my short video to their own blog, meaning that more people will see it. They could also share it to a social networking site from my blog, meaning again that more people will see it, as this is also easy to do. This site allowed me to upload text, photos and embed videos quickly and easily, meaning that I could use this website to keep an account of everything that I have done in every stage of creating my short film, from pre to post-production. Using a site like WordPress is similar to what would be used in the film industry with regards to keeping the audience updated on the film's progress and letting them know about the film, the release date and more. It's also a great way to keep people interested in your upcoming film and to share with other people how it was created. During the pre-production of my film, I made a YouTube account. This was new to me as I had never created an account with YouTube before. By using this, I found out how to upload videos to it, which I found easy and useful for uploading practice footage to see how it would look in the final film. These clips were then uploaded to my WordPress blog, meaning that I could refer back to them when analysing other short videos to see what did and didn't work in terms of camera angles and lighting. In the film industry, YouTube is often used to promote new films and the companies themselves. An example of this is Pixar's short films. By doing this, it helps new and experienced filmmakers to promote and advertise their work in the hope of being noticed this way. As my target audience was mostly teenagers, this website is widely used by them, so it made the chances of my target audiences seeing my video clips on my short film higher. YouTube video clips are also easy to share onto other sites such as Facebook and other social networking sites, helping to spread the word about new films and people's work. Using YouTube was also how I gained soundtracks for my film, and it's where I researched which generic conventions are often found in teen dramas. I found that this was the quickest and easiest way to research other films, as the website is simple to use. I also used YouTube after the making of my film in post-production, as this is where I uploaded the final version of my film onto. I have also used YouTube to upload my evaluation questions, which I have embedded into my blog on WordPress. I used Google Maps to help in the planning stages by using screenshots from Street View to show exactly where I was planning to film. I could then explain on my blog why I had chosen to film there and what scene would be filmed there. Companies within the industry would use programs similar to Google Maps to pinpoint the exact locations of their filming and also to plan routes for travelling to and from filming. I found this program easy to use as I've used it many times before. I found Street View useful as I could see what locations would actually look like, as well as seeing a bird's eye view, which helped me to plan which locations were best to film at. I used a small handheld camera during the pre-production stages of creating my short film to practice different camera angles and lighting. I found the handheld camera useful for pre-production because it allowed me to gain an insight into what lighting would be appropriate or not. It also gave me a basic idea of how scenes would look when shot in certain locations or at different angles. I could then upload these practice shots to my YouTube account, which I embedded onto my blog to record my progress. This helped me to recognise the best places to shoot certain scenes for my film after watching and analysing the practice footage. By using the handheld camera for practice, I found that it did not work very well at night due to insufficient light for the subject matter to be visible. This is initially what made me decide to rethink my original film plan, as that was all going to be filmed at night time. Production along with post-production was the most time-consuming and difficult part of making my short film. I used a large industry-standard camera, unlike ones that I'd used before, as well as having a large amount of planning and setting up in each scene that was shot. This was because each scene that I wanted to create and record, I had to shoot from several different angles to see which had the best look to them. This was so that I had plenty of options when it came to the editing stage. I also had to film some scenes several times due to wanting to perfect them. I used a Sony HD camera for the filming of the actual film. I found that this was much better quality for making a film than the smaller handheld camera that I'd used in pre-production. This was a learning curve for me, as I'd never used a camera this size before, and so I had to learn how to use it properly in different lit environments, and also how to move the camera during filming to get the best effect. I learned how to set the white balance on the camera to get the correct lighting that I wanted, which saved me time during the editing stages. I also learned how to use the zoom on the camera, which I found useful instead of having to walk forwards or backwards with a large camera. I am pleased that I use this camera opposed to the handheld camera, as I think that this helped me to make my short film to a much higher standard and it looked to much better quality. I found that the tripod that I used was very useful, as it helped me to steady the camera whilst filming, as otherwise there would have been much more camera shake throughout the film, which I didn't want, as it would have looked unprofessional. It was much more realistic using a high quality camera and tripod, as in the film industry, large cameras like this are used on tripods for both practice shots and filming the final film, as it gives a more proficient finish to a film. Adobe Premiere is an industry standard editing program. This is what I used to edit all of the scenes that I previously filmed. I then cut and placed them together in the correct order to create my film. I found this very challenging to begin with, as I'd never used such a complex editing program before, and especially not one to such a high standard. However, once I got used to using the program, I found it very useful and quite simple to use. I used Adobe Premiere to firstly import the video clips and then cut and move them so that they played as one long film. I then added in video transitions between shots so that the film ran smoother and didn't just quickly cut from one shot to the other. This was important to make my film look as professional as it could by making the storyline flow. I used this program to import in sound effects such as the chiming sound audio cue and also full-length songs. I then learnt how to layer them over the top of the existing soundtrack. In the film industry, this program and other similar ones are used during the editing stages of creating a film, as it's very high quality. I'm really glad that I had the opportunity to use this software when creating my film, as it allowed me to give a professional and high quality finish to the editing and final film. My post-production consisted of making a film poster and film review. I made my short film poster first using Photoshop. This is a well-known and high-standard industry photo editing program that is used for both educational purposes as well as creating industry-standard products for advertisement, among other things. I have used Photoshop many times before, such as for making my music magazine in the first year of media studies, so I didn't find this challenging to work with. By using Photoshop, my images were kept at a high quality and weren't stretched or distorted when I placed them on the page or moved them around. I was pleased with this, as if I had used a simpler program to create my poster, I think that it would not have looked as good. Having the use of creating separate layers meant that I found it easier to move pictures and text around whilst I was deciding on the layout. My review page was created using InDesign. I chose to use this program instead of Photoshop because I had previously used it for creating my double-page spread and contents cover for my magazine. I found it useful for aligning the text and photographs correctly. Although this program took me longer to learn how to use, I am glad that I now know how to use it properly and that I used it for creating my film review, as I think it gives it a more professional and high quality look. I am pleased that I had the opportunity to use all of these programs, products and websites during the planning, pre-production, making and post-production of my short film, as I think that without them and by using less high quality versions, my film would definitely look a lot less professional. I think that by using all of these, I am much more pleased with the outcome of my film and that I've gained new skills in new and previously used programs.